in this part, we're going to be exploring more about like the structure of the trees, like the giant trees, what they'd look like compared to normal trees and stuff. A case of like giganticism and stuff. So like this, for example, you can see what its roots look like and stuff. Um, how disproportionate they are to what we normally see and stuff. Um, so and also like comparing this with as landscape, um, which is gonna once we kind of get the picture for all this, we'll kind of see where I'm going with it all and stuff. Where it led me kind of thing. So like this, like imagining like mountain ranges and ridges and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like that in a sense. That's what it reminds me of. You see how it comes down here, and you got little how it folds over and all that kind of thing. But and also like the wider the base, the more of a strength of structure in there. So you can see there how much strength in that structure there is, and also like the trunk isn't that tall. You know what I mean? I mean it splits off into loads of different trunks. So I mean, a lot of the giant trees might have been like that. I mean, so there's another way of all these photos gonna like show you different examples of what they potentially could look like at the same time as trying to get some sort of logical sense behind things and stuff. Because like mountains being trees, it's made out of rock, we can prove it that it's petrified tree. But to make sense of what you're looking at, in a sense, it's a bit of a different thing. So you got this tree, for example, another one, like how far it comes out, like, and obviously how tall it is as well. But I've not seen mountains like that. But considering if everything burnt down, then a lot of that might not exist anymore. You know what I mean? It's like what we're seeing now with mountains. They're basically buried upon themselves. You know what I mean? So that's different again. But this is more of an example of what we get. You see, like I'm seeing it as like we've got like a branch that kind of goes along the ground and stuff like that, and then it has all its trees which come off top of it, kind of thing. Again, another exotic kind of tree and stuff. Basically, it was what I looked at, you know what I mean, at the beginning, and that lot. It's sort of palm trees, which are a bit different. But we have again how that's come out and stuff. I see it's like like water. It's got that element to it in a sense. Sometimes it don't have to be one trunk. You got like several coming out of one base. And that's going all the way up the trunk and stuff. You got all. It's like the ankle of the trunk area. See, this is different because it's like a much more wider kind of tree, like. But you can see like like what you class as like natural caves and all that kind of stuff. And then you got all this up here. You see all this new branches forming and stuff. And then there's so many of them that forming, but they're working as a net and catching everything else. It's almost like creating a layer in a sense. Which it's like it depends on what density and all that kind of thing, how big those layers could have got. But I don't know. It's kind of like I did consider that the trees could have been so big that it could have like formed layers like, there's like this old text about like there's supposed to be like different layers underneath us or whatever and stuff. Um, but I don't know, it's still quite a long stretch, but at the same time, it depends. um, but anyway, yeah, so you've got all this growth here. It's like the abundance of that. If that, if it were growing all the way around it, you know what I mean? It could have been like the entire rest of the trunk might have been like just full of like all these new branches coming out all the time. You know, like the dense and thickness of it and all that. And again, if you imagine like the fires and all that kind of stuff, how it would have, what it would have, how bad it would have been. um, Same tree again, just lower ground. And you see like the textures and the way it flows. Like I say, it's like ankles and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean, like an ankle going into your shoe kind of thing. Um, it's very like all the giant research and stuff. Some of the giant research which kind of like it's potentially just trees, not like discounting giants completely and stuff like. In fact, some of my arguments can fit for it. So like you got a natural canyon there, which is something you get on your big trees and stuff. It's like textures as well. It's like elephant skin in a way. Bluebells. And like what I mean about it being like an ankle. You got all caves and all these kind of things. Again, if it were giant or whatever. But all these trunks together. It could have been more like that. It could have been loads and loads and loads of them. Like them columns you see. We've got like, we'll get to some, but it might be a different video. You get like Devil's Tower. See it's curling up and it's going up and stuff. That could be like the same type of tree, maybe. But look at how many trunks that's got. It's quite wide as well. It's ivy. Like an elephant skin. That is closer to what I mean, like for the ground level. This is like your mountains. See, it's like it's sunk into the ground a little bit and stuff. It's like a lot of our mountains are hidden, you know what I mean? Because, like I said, they've buried themselves. Like, it's what I kind of think maybe the tree at the centre would be more like this in terms of like the start of its branches like reaching across continents and stuff as well. But the rest of the world seems to be. I mean, it don't exist anymore anyway. If it did and all that kind of thing, but redwood for difference and stuff. It's a bit blurry. No palm tree. You see all how it comes out like that. I could pretend it's lava, in that same argument, like. I mean, it's different here, obviously, but we get that kind of stuff in landscape photos. again, they're just like examples of, it's just different, way of looking at things and stuff. It's like how far we go, again. It was difficult to find the right pictures that I wanted and stuff. See like that? That's a good example. That's very like what us mountains are like. It's like that kind of thing. Completely different example again. Not that I've particularly seen, some of them are a bit too exotic for really making reference to what we do find in this landscape and stuff. Like I say, I've not seen like, such tall, like that kind of thing, like and thin for the ankle part of the tree kind of thing, where it turns to root. But we don't know what they'll look like, so. But when we go into into landscape, like I say, if you watched Angman's videos, you should be able to identify that rock is basically wood. You know what I mean? I mean, under certain circumstances, you can have different types of rock, which might not be wood as such, but in terms of like this rock, you know what I mean, standard rock, when we're seeing it on mountains and all that kind of thing, that should be achieved. You know what I mean? Go to Angman's and get all that kind of information off him, because it's really good at showing it, like I said. So like here, you can see it's bridging across this way, and then we see to this one, and this one connects to this. Although it's a little bit broken up and stuff, but they're between layers, you know what I mean? So, or rings, or. But this connects to this, and this seems to connect to that, and that continues out there and stuff like. It's not really the best one in that kind of sense and stuff. But when you see like this, you can't tell that it's wood anymore because it's so high and everything's so, all the details lost in the distance and stuff in it. But and not only that, it's like I say, it's buried itself. You can't really make out the rock formation as such. All you can do is like make out the peaks of where it's tallest kind of thing. And then, everything else has just fallen away from it. You know what I mean? It was like, where did that come from? It's like rocks that have fallen there. They've definitely come from above, kind of thing. We've not crawled up from below. You know what I mean? So they've fallen from above. So we see this. It's like a chain. It's all connected in that kind of sense. In one sense, you could say, like, did the tree fall down? But I don't think that's what it is at all, kind of thing. It's more like it grew in that kind of way. Like you get this. It's all like a creeper plant. It's all connected, isn't it? You know what I mean? One massive connection kind of thing. And it's got like, canyons in it to a certain degree. I think it like, does it let itself breathe, or is that just like where it's about to take over itself? Again, here you got all this stone in rings as well, so you can see that it's like wood, and it's all connected. That's connected there, that's going down there, connected to that, you can see that's connected, and then down there, and etc, and so on. So that's one plant. You know what I mean? It's not several plants and stuff like. So you got Yosemite. Again, we've got like all this area. It's like, look at all that is just one piece of rock. You know what I mean? I mean, it goes back way back here and stuff like that. And you got your dome on top and stuff like, obvious stump and stuff. And then all this is connected. You can see all that. There's a valley, so I don't know where it connects and stuff. But that's another example of a creeper plant. Of a picture of it, really, I think. Yeah, daisies on the one, little flowers which represent trees. But like this mountain range from above, you can see how we're all connected. You know what I mean? It's and once it's identified as wood, then we've seen, this is how big them plants are. It's like you've got hundreds of trees coming off of all this. You know what I mean? Which we'd consider as like giant trees. Like Devil's Tower and above, that kind of thing. Like that'd be kind of considered small, wouldn't it? But so you look at all this mountain range. See, you've got your ridge, and then you've got all this area, which there's a lot of debris and everything from like the ash wasteland and all that. You see it all spilling out here, and then you got your flat land down here. But look how far that goes. It's like that. How deep is it? So it's like if we dug down there to where flat land is, you'd know where base of mountain is. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, really the base of the mountain would be going into the ground, wouldn't it? If it's a tree, you know what I mean, with its roots and all that kind of thing. It's like the vastness of it. Again, it's snow covered as well. But that's like looking at our world. Our world's like snow covered in a sense. It's just covered in rubble and ash, and been weathered over years. This is in China. See wood shape and stuff like. It's just, you may be better off like looking on Google and stuff like that to check it out and stuff. But again, you can like see it's connected. There's a video on YouTube of people doing some of like the most dangerous hikes in the world or whatever. I think one of these mountains is on there, and this girl like pans around. As she looks around, you can just see it's like this hump of rock connected to another hump and another hump and another hump, and there's no separation. So it's all one thing, you know what I mean? But it's like it's full of sandstone or quartz, either kind of thing, and we already know that that's like your sap. So all this rock is basically the same as this. So that's like harping ground and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's root in it, but I'm trying to. You've got like this. Imagine this goes out for several. What scale do we do it in? Let's say 100 miles. You know what I mean? It spreads for hundreds of miles and stuff like that, and then it's got a great tree in the middle, which is like it dwarfs it all kind of thing. Although this has trees coming off it as well, and that's kind of like more of a picture in a sense of what It depends how big they were. You know what I mean? You got like little mountains here and stuff like that. It's getting bigger, deeper, denser, taller, and then you've got like a massive one at the back. Another big one behind there. But it's all rubble. Again, there's loads of examples of it. I'm thinking, is this in between? You know what I mean? It's growing here, and you've got it growing here. I mean, obviously it is wood because it's got quartz in it for one. Because like, It depends. I need to have another look at some aerial views on that area and stuff. So it depends how far back it goes. You know what I mean? It's like a plateau is just the base of a tree kind of thing. I don't know. But anyway, because I'm missing my point, I guess that I start talking. But, so again, yeah, you got more of it kind of thing. But that ridge. Oh yeah, it's all connected. It's a bit different as that one. Sorry, I just can't tell what all this is. It's a bit blurry. It looks like shacks and stuff like, but at the same time, it just looks like I don't know. Never mind anyway. 7 Yosemite again. You get your dome, so we're other side of that rock now. That's like connect. You look at these for trees, you know. See a knot there, like a branch coming out of it or something like that, or would have been. Like, sticking up there, and I don't know. It's just all just one plant, I think. It might be like running by side or something like that kind of thing. But quite often that's the same plant anyway. When you look from above. Again, its ankle kind of coming out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that in a lot of pictures. It's like an ash wasteland. It's like all hard, I think, as well. It's like baked over. Again, you've got all these peaks going off into the distance, which is hundreds of miles, isn't it? Again, another example of like how a creeper grows and then things come up off it. I was trying to explain that on live streams and stuff. Again, another creeper plant. But imagine that you'd set fire to it and then it all crumbles, you know what I mean, and stuff. And what it'd look like then is it'd be nothing compared, you know what I mean? You'd have like piles and you know what I mean, where the most concentration is and all that kind of stuff. But it's what's showing in a sense. See it again, it's like all humping one thing to the next thing, all off into distance. It just looks so obvious at the trees on these kind of things. That comes out as like a structure, as I think build a structure it looks like, and then you know what I mean, there'll be probably trees coming off this area or whatever, like it is there. You can see it looks like there's something going off there, and this as well. Whereas, you know, what it used to look like, you can imagine, can't you? You see, like, you've got all this here, all this flat area, shouldn't be there. It's only there because of what will grow in here, and you know what I mean. It used to drop its leaves and twigs and all that kind of stuff, and then it will burn down, and now it's a petrified mess, and now it's slowly weathering away and stuff like. So all this is mainly from the debris and stuff. You can see it all over here and stuff. So you got all your rocks and all that kind of thing, but it's unrecognizable. You can't say that that's a tree. It's a pile of dirt, land, etc. And you know what I mean, rocks and stuff like. But now we know, don't we? Though like I say about you watched Anwan's video, and you know all this. You know for a fact. You've seen it in detail, and you just add it up to everything else. All these bits here, everything's just a remainder of the previous. You get these rings, these layers like this, and sometimes they come in rings like that. Which the question is this a branch which has landed? Is that like how thick, you know what I mean, it were? The rest of it's like weathered away, burnt away, then weathered away over years and stuff. Until somebody came and wanted to build a motorway between it and exposed what's underneath. There's a couple of pictures of it. Somebody made a video after I spoke about it on live stream. But you can look them up yourself anyway. But that's how it looks like up close, like when it's you see dig marks kind of thing going through. This is a different location, but you got the same stuff. Again, there's going to be if you do your own search, you'll find loads of telltale wood marking pattern, etc. In all of it and stuff. But yeah, that kind of like overall, we've got like a view of us, like our trees and roots and landscape and all that. But once I add more to this, like we'll get a bit of a bigger picture kind of thing. Yeah, I'll get on with the next one. Alright, nice one, cheers.